Namaste, my friends. Today we're going to work on doing some poses that's going to help with our outer strength. And as we work on creating more outer strength, we will also be creating more inner strength. So we're going to first get into easy pose here with legs crossed in front, straight spine, neck long, shoulders down, and start breathing. And breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And as we breathe in, we're breathing in all the goodness and light and strength and prosperity. And breathing out, we're letting go of any negative feelings or thoughts that aren't serving us anymore. We're breathing in and letting that good feeling and strength fill us from the bottom all the way up to the top. And we can feel it growing and expanding, and it feels good. And as we breathe out, we're allowing all the things that are holding us back, all the things that aren't serving us anymore to release and to let go and to surrender all of that away. And we're going to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. And as you're breathing in, imagine the white core of light at the very center of your body. And as you're breathing in, that beautiful strength is running up that core and strengthening it and making it stronger and more secure and more solid than ever before. And you feel those feelings radiating out from there, and it feels really good. And as you're breathing out, you're feeling anything that's left over that doesn't belong, being relieved and releasing from your body. So that all that you have remaining is that bright white core at your very center, making you feel strong and ready for whatever is coming today. And it feels good. And the confidence and the joy and the excitement is there, ready for us to grab a hold of it and bring it into our lives. And we're breathing in and breathing out. Do you feel that strength? Good. Because now we're going to bring it to the mat. All right, first thing we're going to do is hero's pose. And this pose may be more comfortable if you have a block or even a blanket that you can put behind you. And the blanket would, the block, you can sit on it. And the blanket, you can set right behind your knees and you can sit on that as well. So whatever feels more comfortable. Bring the blanket all the way up into your knees and sit here. And you want your knees together as much as you can. And you want to sit up straight and tall on your heels and breathe. Now we're going to twist one side. So we're going to twist from the hips and we're going to move our hand to the back. The other hand just on your thigh and breathe. And move back to center. And now we're going to twist to the other side. One hand on the small of the back, the other hand on the thigh. As you twist around gently, as far as you can go, comfortably, and breathe. And then come back to center. Now we're going to remove the block or blanket, whichever you have underneath supporting you. And then we're going to move into cat and cow. So you move on to the mat. Your knees right underneath your hips. Hands right underneath your shoulders. With a flat back. And now we're going to arch our spine up into cat. Your movement is really going to just be in your spine, in your back. And then we're going to move into cow. So we arch that spine downward. And make sure we're keeping our shoulders down and not hunched up like this. You want to keep it straight. Your shoulders straight. And now, as we're breathing in, we're going to breathe into cat. And hold that with that breath. And then we're going to move into cow. So you're really moving with your breath. As you breathe in, you're moving into cat. As you breathe out, you're moving into cow. So breathe in, into cat. And breathe out, into cow. Let's do this a few more times. We're going to breathe in, cat. And breathe out, into cow. And breathe in. And breathe out. Now we're going to come back to a flat back and we're going to thread the needle. So let's go and take the right side down first. We're going to take the right hand, thread it underneath the left, and you're going to come all the way down as far as you can go, preferably reaching your shoulder and cheek, your right shoulder and cheek to the ground. If you need to put a blanket under here to give you that support and to bring the floor up to you a little bit, that's perfectly fine. But if you have any sort of shoulder injuries or shoulder problems, just go into child's pose instead of doing this. But if you can manage this, this is a very good stretch for the back, for the shoulders. And it kind of reaches all the way down to the lower back. Now we're breathing. And now we're going to move back to center. And we're going to thread the needle on the other side. So we're going to take the left hand, move it underneath the right, left shoulder, left cheek, all the way to the ground. And we're going to breathe. Come back up to center. Now we're going to do extended puppy. That is coming down to your forearms, moving them up toward the mat a little bit. Because what you're going to want to do is create some space so you can get your chest and forehead all the way to the ground, if you can. If you need to give a little support underneath with a blanket, that's perfectly fine. But the object is to try and get as far down with your chest and forehead as you can. Because this is going to release a lot of tension and stretch out the muscles in your back and your shoulders. And it's really good
for upper back. And we're going to breathe. All right, now we're going to go into child's pose. So basically we're going to go all the way down to the mat, the bottom of the mat. We're going to do heels to bottom, stretching our arms out in front of us, putting our forehead to the floor, allowing our back to stretch out. This is really great for the lower back. And we're going to breathe and just sit here for a moment, enjoying this pose. So now that we've warmed ourselves up, we're going to create some inner strength. First of all, we're going to move into Cobra. And this is really going to help stretch out that lower back. Move your arms forward. And you're going to want to arch back and look up. Make sure your shoulders are down. Your feet are flat on the floor in the back. And breathe. Now we're going to move into downward dog. Our hands aren't going to move, but the rest of our body is going to position itself into downward dog. And you want to make sure you can come back a little bit. Notice this, come back into your back like this, so. And pedal your feet down as far as you can. Your heels do not have to touch the ground. The biggest thing here you want is strength and lengthening in your hamstrings. So we're going to hold this for a few moments as we breathe. And now we're going to move forward into plank. So we're going to have our shoulders directly over our hands, and we're going to move our bottom down. So we're going to have a straight line from the shoulders all the way down to the feet. And hold this and breathe. And now we're going to move back into downward dog. And we're going to move back and forth a few times so we can get this strength of the plank going. And as you're moving in to plank, envision that inner core strength that you had when you were breathing earlier, and have that be what keeps you up. Imagining that inner strength just becoming stronger and stronger as you do these poses. All right, we're going to come down to child's pose real quick, stretched out. And breathe. Give yourself a little bit of a break. If you're not used to doing plank pose, then only do a few of these. You don't have to do a whole lot. And hold it as long as you can, and then back off into downward dog, or even go back into child's pose as needed. The more that you do these kind of poses, the easier it gets. So now we're going to go into side plank. So from plank, we rotate to one side and hold. And if you can't quite hold this, then you can put one leg to your knee to the ground here. And you can hold this. I find that I can hold the full plank for a little while, but then I need to come down and onto my knee, which is perfectly fine, because the more times you do this, the more you're building up your strength, and eventually you're going to be able to go into full side plank and not even need to go down to the knee. But it's important as you're doing these poses to remain breathing, because it's the breath that's going to help you stay steady and strong. So we're going to come back up to plank, and now we're going to do plank on the other side. So we can move up to here or down to here on your knee. The key is to be straight and strong in your back. Your shoulders are stacked, your hips are stacked, and you're continuing to breathe. And now we're going to come back down into plank, and then we're going to move into child's pose and release all of that. All right, so let's come back up to downward dog, and we're going to do the side plank round one more time. We're going to come up to plank, and to side. The most important thing about these poses isn't necessarily to reach the full pose, but to do what you can do when you're ready, when you're able, and realize it's a journey. And if you keep practicing, you're going to get to where you want to be. I used to not be able to plank at all. But now, through practice, through several steady weeks of practice, I've been able to maintain my plank for a little bit. All right. And now back into downward dog. Well, I did child's pose first, but I love child's pose because it really helps to really give you that little bit of a break that you might need. Okay, so now we're going to come onto our back, and we're going to go into bridge pose. So we're going to lay flat on our back with our feet flat on the floor, and then we're going to lift our hips up and arch upward and have our shoulders down firmly into the mat, and using our shoulders as our main support on the one side and our feet as the other support on the other. And we're going to lift up as high as we can go into bridge and hold this pose as we breathe. And now we're going to move back down to the floor and bring our knees under our chest real quick to help release that pose. And then we'll put our feet flat on the ground again. And now we're going to take our arms and hold on to each elbow with one arm underneath and one on top. And we're going to create some length in these arms as we move our arms back over our head, trying to keep our shoulders on the floor as we do so. And make sure we keep your neck nice and long and breathe. This is a good stretch for the arms after doing the plank poses to help lengthen them and allow them to relax as well. And we're going to come up. We're going to switch with the other arm underneath and the other arm on top. And we're going to move our arms back over our head and breathe. And then we're going to do it again. Switch our arms again. Move them back over the head again and breathe. So if you're having any tightness in the shoulders, then this is really good to help with that, as well as any issues with your upper back is going to help release. We're going to switch it again. And arms overhead and breathe. All right, we're going to release that, and then let's take a rolled up blanket, and we're going to put this right directly underneath our shoulders. And what this is going to do is this is going to help further release in our shoulders, our muscles, and help release any tension or anything going on in the upper back. We're just going to lay here with the blanket right directly underneath both shoulders. So it's definitely you're definitely supporting your shoulders and even a little bit on your neck. Your head's going to be, the top of your head's going to be on the floor. Your feet's going to be down. And you're just going to lay flat like this for a few minutes and breathe. If you find yourself having a lot of tension in your upper back, this is a good pose just to do for 5-10 minutes all on its own if you feel like you need it. Just lay here and just breathe for a while, allowing the blanket to give the support you need while everything else just kind of settles down and relaxes. And now we're going to roll over to one side. Blanket's still underneath. You're going to be lifting your head up just a little bit. Your arm on underneath is going to be straight out. Your other top arm you're going to do straight out as well. Have your palms meet, and then go ahead and take your lower arm up and move it up past your elbow on the top arm. And then once you do that, you're going to very gently pull that arm, the top arm, forward, using the bottom arm as a support. And this is going to help even further to release any tension or tightness that you may be having in the back. If this is too difficult for you to do, or your shoulders won't allow you to create this movement, then just lay back on the mat with the blanket rolled up underneath your shoulders. This is just to help release a little bit more, give a little more stretch to the shoulders and upper back. We're going to release that and then do it on the other side. So you're just going to roll over to the other side and pretty much do the same thing. You're going to have both arms, both palms meet, and then you're going to slowly take your lower arm, move it up past your elbow to the upper arm, and then you're going to very slowly create length in your upper arm and allow it to move forward. And don't go too fast, just go slow. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And then you'll get to that point where you feel like you can't go any further, and you're just going to stop and hold this pose as you breathe. All right, we're going to come back. Yeah, that feels good. All right, now we're going to move the blanket out. We're going to lay flat on our back and go into Shavasana. Legs straight, shoulders in the mat, head in the mat, arms at the side, palms up. And just allow yourself to relax in the mat, feeling proud of yourself for the good work you've done today, allowing yourself to be strong as you move through each of these poses, allowing your strength to build, even if it built just by little bits, and even if you only did just a little bit more with your strength than you thought you could. That's good. Wherever you are is good. Let it feel good. Let that strength, let that core of light in your inner being radiate outward and just feel beautiful and strong and firm. And focus on that strength, that core that's inside you. As you breathe and relax, let your body relax around the core as that core runs straight, strong, and true. And as you feel it on the inside, so strong, so beautiful, so perfect, so you. And just breathe. Now we're going to come slowly to our side and rest here for a moment before coming all the way up and sitting straight and tall. And we're going to bring our hands all the way up, and we're going to take in all the goodness and light and beauty and strength. And we're going to bring it down into our heart. And we feel so good right now. We feel so strong. And we know that as we go forward today, that we're going to be able to meet the day with strength and beauty and honor and firmness and be ourselves 100% and not let anything sway us from that. Namaste.